and kind of a lot going on. So, and we were just chatting about how being the first class with women at Hawken, and then graduating in the 90s, I think we represent a pretty amazing, diverse spectrum of consciousness of what it's like to do medicine. So.
We also wanted to say that some of what we're talking about women in medicine is just being a woman in health. So it's not only to women in medicine. So those of you who are here, you know, a good friend who's a lawyer, I know that she goes through a lot of this. Some of the stresses and some of the juggling, I would say, not stresses, some of the opportunities happening, and just being a female in our society. So, and I also think we have to say we both have 3 children, and that's the other half of both very nice places here. And my daughters are 24, 22, and 20. So they're in a really different place.
And my sons, we've got boys and girls. My sons, my oldest will be 4 in March, and I have twins that are 24.
Oh my God.
So I met them yesterday. They are so cute.
And wait.
We want to show little pictures of them too, or do you want to show them later?
We'll come at the end.
Okay.
When everybody's tired of hearing about it.
How about we switch to maybe some Hawken pictures?
Oh no.
There's Brooke. Multi-talented individual here. Here's the heart. There she is down there.
Soccer player.
Yep, she's a soccer player too. Tap dancer in the theater. Look at that. And then there's that one with Peter up there. Looks exactly the same.
Gretchen Stenberg.
Oh wow.
Oh, there's Susan Michaels.
So one thing about being at Hawken, we were going to talk about being at Hawken, is I was in the first class of girls. It was so much fun. I will tell you, my dad doesn't remember this. My brother, when he was in 5th grade, I was in 5th grade, he was in 4th grade. My dad decided to send him to university school, telling us he has to earn a living because he's going to support a family. And so my sister and I were in public school. It never came up. But when I actually was in 9th grade, I wanted to go to US, but it wasn't an option. And Hawken became co-ed. So it was so much fun. I had a great time being there. And even though our class had about 20 people, I don't even remember, about 20 people in it, so we were really in the minority. It really launched me into college and feeling really comfortable being in a STEM field and being in sciences, because I was in the minority. It never kind of felt awkward.
And Hawken for me, so I'm actually a West Sider. And so it took the bus for an hour each way every day. Came in high school, and my mom's actually here today. But so she's going to be able to make sure that I'm on the straight and narrow here. But I actually was a Montessori coding because I had a Piper brother, so we went into private school to try to accommodate that. And in 8th grade, the representatives from Hawken came, Joy Grossman came, and I just said to them, I have to go to school, please let me go. They made me look at the other independent schools. And I just appreciated how messy the art room was and how it being great. And the rest was history. It was an amazing opportunity for education that definitely launched lifelong friendships and comfort level with this kind of work.
And science, yeah, great science. Yeah. And literature, which I loved.
Yeah.
And the next one, right.
We just really want to be interrupted if people have
questions,
thoughts, the directions that you want to take this.
So when I was in college, I mean, Peter taught me to love literature a lot, I would say. And so I wanted to take the minimal number of science classes I could to get into medical school, which is exactly what I did. Nowadays, I probably would do a postbac, which, you know, is where people get through and then they go back and take their science courses. But I did as much, everything else except for science that I could do. And I had a great time in college too. And I was the minority. I was definitely the minority going through my classes. But I had great support. I met my husband in college, so We've been together for a really long time.
Where'd you go to college?
I was at Brown University, and you'll laugh, being from Ohio. He's from Cincinnati, I was from Cleveland, and people always thought we knew each other in high school.
It's so annoying.
It's so annoying.
I went from Hawken to Johns Hopkins and studied biology and philosophy. Got done in 3.5 years, so I worked in genetics lab for my last semester. I couldn't justify doing the last semester to get my second major in philosophy, so I used it to try to earn a little bit of money. And my brother, actually, who was class of '97 at Hawken, followed me to Hopkins, so we overlapped 1 year, which was
Remember that one story you told me yesterday about the Hopkins College?
Oh,
I want you to tell that, huh?
yes. So interestingly, actually 2 things came to mind. One was that we were trying to get into AP classes at Hawken, and I was always a very enthusiastic student, but there were certain classes that I didn't immediately get to enroll into, and Mr.
Bruce Carr.
Bruce Carr at the time, he told us that for the colleges that I'd be looking at, that I didn't need AP classes. So he eventually let me in, and subsequently things moved along, but sort of pivotal moments where you try harder and work harder. It was pretty interesting. I also remember trying to take a lot of non-sciencey classes that took all the art that I could and all of the, anything sort of outside of peripheral literature, education, philosophy, those kinds of things. And Dr. Barter had said that you needed to stay in the sciences because that's what really matters. And we were kind of more of the opinion that a well-rounded education was really important to a solid foundation. Fortunately, Hawken let us do that, but some interesting pivotal moments.
So, not to throw anybody under the bus, because I don't think actually people are always even aware of when they have gender bias. I think it happens a lot more than you realize, and I think people are fairly biased. I did include, I was hoping to try to do it for the group, but it's too long, and I encourage you all to go online and look at, because I included the implicit bias aptitude test, and it's a 7-layer test that you take. I took it, and I think I'm a very open-minded, unbiased person, and I came across as strongly biased towards males and careers, so you never know. But I really think in one of the articles that I read that I want to share with you that shows that gender bias is so prevalent and that you don't even realize you're doing it. There was a study, and there was a woman who did this study. She took applicants for students who were looking at science lab manager jobs at research universities, and they were hoping to go on to graduate school. And she sent these applications to 127 different scientists at research institutions. Half of the applicants she titled John, and the other half she titled Jennifer. Okay? And when they looked at the results of how they rated these applicants based upon how competitive they were, how hireable they were, how willing they would be to mentor them, and what they picked for their salary, they put all of the women lower in every single category. And they came up with a salary that was $4,000 less.
What year was this?
2013. This is recent. This is a recent one. I put it in there in my references. You can find it. So it's just, and the worst part in my mind when I was reading this that came up about this was women who were the scientists who were rating the applicants were equally as offensive as the men. So when we talk about people saying this, I don't think that it's intentional to put women in their place in a different place, but I think we have to be intentional about changing the process and thinking about it. I'm really proud. Mona's sitting here in the front. She's going to plastic surgery, once a surgeon, and not that I'm not part of you, about Bethany too, take family medicine, but we have to break down some of these barriers much more aggressively. So, okay. What are we talking about next? College. So I think med school is next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I went from Hopkins to Ohio State, circling back home, and I think if I had done them in reverse order, I might have graduated from either. Ohio State was very fun. Learned to ski and whitewater raft, and One of the challenges I had getting into medical school, which I think was in part remnant from my Hawken experience, was that my undergrad experience, I was a varsity soccer player, I did tours, I did all kinds of stuff. I worked in the lab, but I never ran anything. I never was the leader of anything in Hawken. I naturally was the leader of a lot of stuff. It's a small program, and you were involved and you got to be a leader. And when I applied to medical school, one of the things that was a criticism was, doesn't have leadership potential because not doing stuff. So when I went to Ohio State, I basically went and led everything I could find, and have continued to try to lead everything I can find. So again, pivotal discussions, but we don't see you as a leader.
You hadn't mentioned impact yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I was very involved throughout medical school in organized medicine, which at the time I thought was about a sponsored trip and having fun. But ended up that I was on the American Medical Action Committee board on several national elected positions with the AMA, and have made some really just amazing contacts around the country and had a lot of experience with leadership training through what I thought was just an enjoyable extracurricular activity, which maybe explore later.
When I was in medical school, so I also came back to Ohio, I went to the University of Cincinnati for medical school, and my class had 30% females. Actually, it was only 27% when I was in that class. By the year 2003, 50% of all medical graduates are females. Interestingly, though, only about a third of practicing physicians, I don't know where they all go to because I couldn't find that statistic, but only a third of all practicing physicians are women. So I'm not sure where they all land, but 50% of us are graduating in the graduating classes. We don't really talk about this too much, but I just will tell you from Case, the tuition at Case right now is $60,000. When I went to medical school, it was a lot less than that. And plus we came back to the state of Ohio where I grew up, and I married my husband after my first year because he was on house debt. I only had to pay 50% of my $16,000. And if he had been a secretary, I would have done. So that was a different thing. But it was, that's a big issue kind of in medical school when you're thinking about careers and what you're going to get reimbursed for your careers and what you're doing. I think people can't underestimate that. So it's just a big issue. I know you guys you're graduating now, so thank you very much for, for all that.
The current average medical school debt is $100,000, and that's probably low because there's a huge spread between state schools and private schools, and then when you add undergrad loans on top of that, it's enormous. So personally, I pay $1,000 a month and have for 10 years and will 20 more years, just as to put that to go to Ohio State, which is a state school, just to sort of put that in, in a framework. I was fortunate enough to have my college paid for, so this was just to be able to. So I called my summer home in Washington.
So I was kind of, like I said, I was like, and made a choice, not thinking I was making a choice for the reason I was. So, the other thing I wanted to mention was the professors who teach us. And you guys will be aware of this too. Do not always reflect the 50% ratio. I was just kind of to give you a statistic. In 1980, only 17% of faculty at medical institutions were female. By the year 2000, it's up to about a third, but it certainly doesn't reflect what the ratio of 50 to 50, and the number of women who go on to be full professors is way below the number of men who go on to be full professors. So that happens, and that's kind of part of the environment that you're in. Doesn't mean that, like I said, it's not this planned thing, and it doesn't feel bad while you're going through it. But when I was looking at all these numbers, and I know my career and kind of some of what I've compromised that I didn't necessarily have to compromise, it's really been dramatic. So.
I mean, just
Yeah.
not to push the nursing side, but it's the exact opposite.
Opposite, yeah.
It's in medical school. With nursing, yeah, it is. I mean, it's been stereotypically nurses are females, and there's a ton of males in nursing now. My nursing class was about 30%, 40% male. But
that's
all,
high. That's high,
yeah,
because my daughter's in nursing school, she's gonna graduate in May, and she has maybe 5% of class.
but all, the majority of my professors were female.
Darcy,
I just have to add, so I was in graduate school for speech pathology before getting into school for being osteopath. It was so funny because it was a building that was speech pathology and audiology. So like the half of the building that was speech pathology was like 98% women, and then the other half that was audiology was like 98% men. It just was bizarre. I mean,
That's so
it was amazing.
I think that's like the gender bias stuff, where people get channeled into these things that they are not even realizing.
Audiology,
Yeah,
it's very
right.
math-based, so I think maybe that's partly why like males maybe feel more comfortable going that direction.
Math?
I think, I mean, there are these biases that
Talking to
are better
somebody
at
who
math.
didn't spell it. No, but I understand. I mean, my son's.
Yeah.
I don't know. John?
Are there certain specialties that women are discouraged from?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna go through that next. That's next, you can go on to the next slide.
Yeah, what is the ratio at case in the medical school male female, that particular?
The faculty,
No,
or
the
the
students.
medical, 50-50.
Is it 50?
Is it?
Because my observation from rounds there, when Ben was in the hospitals, it seemed like it was like 75-25
Women,
female to male, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, a lot of-
Probably that's because he's peds, and probably more people were choosing, more women go into pediatrics. So third year, you have to do required clerkships. Fourth year, you choose electives, and you kind of hone in where you're going. So you probably had more females on the basis of that, yeah. That's probably wrong. If you were, fortunately, you didn't have any surgery, right? If you were on the surgical service, you may have felt like, wow, you guys have so many males here. And, is it Rebecca? You know, urology, what's the percentage? Yeah.
7% female. Practicing urologist.
What about surgeons?
It's a great question.
We can go on to the next year residency is the other thing.
So until about 3 months ago, when you were asked me to do this, I've never really considered the question of women in medicine. It's never been a thing. It's never been anything that even crossed my mind. So I trained in the Cleveland Clinic system, and I was almost always the only girl in the program out of 15. It was sort of a transitional rotator once a year that kind of came and went, but I'm just completely used to. My group that I joined was 5 guys and me. The group prior to that was 4 guys and me. And the wall of residents at MedChi is 60 men and 2 other women. So I have not been really aware of it, but it's about probably 20% of women are surgeons. And so in terms of picking residencies, in terms of what direction you go, we were kind of laughing. We both went to medical school to become pediatricians.
I think you go to become what you know, right? I mean,
So
that's what you know. Right?
yeah. My best friend in college ended up dying of cancer our junior year of college, and so that clearly motivated me to. Once I was 5'8" in 8th grade, I knew I wasn't going to be a ballerina, so I wanted to be a doctor from then on. But what type of doctor wasn't totally clear. So pediatrician is how I entered medical school, and actually it was my 3rd year rotation. And I was going to be anything but a surgeon because I also passed out in my pediatrician's office as a child with a tetanus shot. So I passed out in health class at Hawken. Right. There it is. So anyway, I was going to be anything but a surgeon, and actually for me, what it came down to is personality. It's that it's really hard to be on the pediatric wards with really sick kids. I did Hawken Camp for 8 years and loved every minute of all of those children, and just could not deal with chronically ill children, which is what you see on the wards. And dealing with families that all they know is chronically ill children is incredibly special. The people that can manage that kind of life and that kind of career are, hats off. It's amazing. And ironically, my best friend in college, the 3 of us, so one passed and the other one did become a pediatric oncologist, and he's wonderful. But so the surgeons at the Cleveland Clinic, Dr. Sipperstein, would constantly quiz me about art history in the OR, and that's fantastic. That's so much fun. And I just love buzzing around the hospital and with you, we'll fix you, you know, you know much more about, and I've always said I'm not totally proud of that part of my personality, but I loved it. I love being able to take a scenario, fix it, and you know, move on to the next project. And so my career ended up that I actually work in mood centers, so I have amazing continuity for 10 years with people with chronic foods, diabetics, you know, really difficult social situations. So I kind of get my little medicine fix one day a week, and then I go back and sort of do my quick things and you know, get to use the technical skills. So surgery's been an interesting walk. I was interested in ENT at one point, but basically my academics were such that the general surgery ended up being the better fit for me. So.
I can say I did internal medicine. I love what I get to do every day. I love taking care of patients. I love the continuity and the longevity. The social issues and the social problems are so hard. It's hard to do healthcare in our country right now, and it's scary right now because I personally believe everybody has a right to medical care. So that's a challenge for me, but I love what I get to do. And I have this thing I love everybody I meet. As soon as they come and talk to me, that's something I like about them. And so I really like getting to take care of patients. It's great. When I was in medical school, I started out thinking I was going to be a pediatrician. Then somehow I got routed to almost become a pediatric ophthalmologist. And I was telling Mona, you know, you start going on this pathway that, you know, you're not even sure. And all of a sudden I was going for a residency interview. And I was like, what did I do? I want to be in primary care. Like, how did I do this? Canceled my interview. To New York City instead, you know, and had a great time. And then just applied for, you know, primary care. It just applied to really one program. And there's a whole different world back then in terms of matching and all the process. But I love what I get to do. But I will tell you, we mentioned 75% surgery. You mentioned is, you know, yeah, well, it depends because actually I did find statistics from 2015 of general surgery, 40% actually is women now, which is a lot more than when you probably went into it. Radiology is 27% is women. Family medicine, 58%. Urology, like you said, you know, at least, you know, 97% are female, right? So I have a couple others, but you know, those are the ones you think about. Emergency medicine, when you go in, only 38% are females. So, the OB is 85% female. It used to be all male. Like when I went through, it was all male. Now it's all female.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do think probably helpful to your question, depending on where you are in your life and where you are in your brain about how you want your life to look, I think a lot of the decisions about what your career might be is based on your either the real or the perceived amount of work hours, the real perceived kindness towards needing to take time off or needing to flexibility. If you do 12-hour operative cases on a daily basis and your kid gets sick at school, that's not some women tend to be more wired to think in terms of family. We were going to talk about family from, you know, babies to parents, but you know, that tends to be part of our calculation in general, and it's probably less of a calculation in a, you know, a traditional masculine role. So that goes into the pie.
And then when I went to residency, I thought I was going to specialize, but I had infertility problems. And I actually had 6 IVF cycles before I got pregnant. And so instead of moving on to a fellowship, I stayed on as faculty at Temple University. Now I moved in the middle of my residency because my lovely husband took another position, and I said, no problem, I can move, which is just a learning process. For me, I was you know, doing a great job in my residency. I was offered a chief position, which I couldn't take because I went with him. But I was like, I'm doing fine. I know I can go to any program I want. So in the old days, we had a little book. And I opened the book to everything in Philadelphia because that's where my husband's position was. I applied to every single program in Philadelphia, and nobody answered my application.
Didn't answer?
Nothing, not a word. My program director came down with Greg and said, Deb, how's it going? I said, Greg, I can't get anybody to respond to me. He said, give me your list and give me a week. Give him my list and give him a week. I got offers from every single one of those programs. It just taught me this whole lesson about life. Wow. It was like, it made me so mad that so I ended up in Philadelphia at Temple, and then I stayed on there. And I had infertility, so I chose to stay on as faculty in the general medicine department. And I've been general medicine faculty, academic ever since. It was a really hard decision not to specialize. It's great. You have this little area that you really, one, you're going to be great as a plastic surgeon, but sometimes I wish I could just be like the GI doctor who specializes in Crohn's disease, because it's really nice to be such an expert in one field. I read all the time, nonstop. I'm always reading literature. I love being academic because I'm always going to conferences. I'm trying furiously to keep up, but I love being kind of now a jack of all trades and having that confidence to kind of act on that. And being able to take care of everybody, a little bit of everything, and recognizing patients. That was a real, yeah, go ahead.
I've been Deb's patient on a couple of occasions, and she's a doctor who comforts you immediately and listens, and she's great.
Well, we can tell one thing is when I came to help Peter in one situation, I brought a book so we could read together.
We did.
We read together.
I wasn't rushing
I knew
yet.
my patient. We read together.
So going back to your discussion of sort of the gender breakdown in different specialties in medical school, do you have any information on the racial breakdown?
What do you mean?
How many, the percentage of white people, percentage of Asian?
I do not. That's a really good question. I don't. But I think I won't be surprised. What do you think? I mean, I have an opinion about everything. It's 2 a.m. What do you think?
Mostly white people.
I bet, yeah. We're surgeons.
I mean, on my interviews, I don't think I met one African American attending. And I interviewed a bunch of them.
Right, and the same bias. I mean, in the same implicit bias survey, they do it by race as well as gender, and it's really interesting to go through because I think the same issues that we deal with male-female are definitely out there. I definitely think that.
There was an article in the Times, I think like a week ago, and it's interesting that you said, Peter, she listened to me, because they talk about medicine, placebos,
So,
and doctors listening. And doctors listening was the most curing, making you better.
Except I always run late. I always run late.
it's the same with teaching.
Yeah,
And like,
Sorry.
it's so true. But yeah, I mean, I think anybody who can be a good friend and listen, that counts a lot. Yeah,
Have you seen a change in the breakdown of your clients since the beginning? Male, female, race, age?
You know what? I think that because I'm a female doctor, I get a lot of female patients. It just happens to be. But I have like the spectrum, I really do. And because I work at the hospital, I mean, I'm based at University Hospital, and I have a couple of days that I go to the satellite clinic. And the reason I didn't want to leave the hospital is because there I get kind of everybody coming down to see me. They can't. You know, when I first went out to Chagrin Highlands, I had one patient come out to see me, and she got dropped off at Chagrin, and she had to walk like her 2.5 miles because there were no buses at that point. So I had to wait till the end of the day, and I drove her back, you know. But that's hard, you know, and you don't realize that when you're out using public transportation. One thing I just wanted to bring up, because I can't help but stand on a little bit of a political platform, is, and I have a bunch of residents here. So I got a statistic that there were, in 2015, there were 30,000 resident physicians that they had to match for in the United States, okay? And in 2015, there were about 18,000, a little bit more, maybe 19,000 allopathic medicine residents, and there were about 3,000 osteopathic medicine residents applying for those positions. So 21,000 residents applying from the US, 30,000 physicians. So who's filling all those other spots are foreign medical grads. So I can't help but kind of comment here, because yesterday in my role as, you know, as the attending in the residence clinic, I had 3 women with me who were staffing patients with them. One was from Saudi Arabia, one was from Egypt, and one was from Lebanon. They are outstanding doctors. They're fantastic. I love having them as colleagues. And I just have to say it's really important, you know, that we kind of keep our open mind about immigrants and kind of some of who we have in this country. Sorry, I couldn't. I just have to tell you. Okay. Sorry, I have to stand on the platform for a second.
The question about what the complexion of your patients are. So interestingly, I I was funneled towards a breast center in my first job, which was something that was okay, but I didn't love. And we were in a 90-bed hospital in a rural community, and basically I ended up with everybody. There definitely are women who don't want to see men as surgeons, but there are a lot of men that are like, I trust you a lot more than a guy because you're going to listen to me because, you know, because I think you have smaller hands. I don't know, like they have a lot of spaces. But actually, I was in the community for 5 years, and I ended up with over 6 members of the same family in my practice by the time I was out of that community. So, to the point where I walked through the ER, people like waving out of their rooms, and, you know. So even though I said that I picked a specialty that had a lot of coming and going, there were a lot of connections that are made. And then moving to Annapolis, which is a much bigger town. It's amazing how many people you run into over and over again. The world becomes very small very quickly. And right now I'm an emergency surgeon, so all of my patients
I forgot to tell that story. You told me about they said they were going to be breast surgeons and stuff.
Oh, well, so
yeah, but I remember that story? No, okay,
that's covered a lot of ground. But yeah, so now I do emergency surgery, and all of my patients come as ER patients. They don't get to choose their doctor. I run a group of 7 rotating surgeons, and so every 12 hours it's a different doctor, and so you could be worked on by somebody and operated on by somebody you've never met. And it's a new model in this country, and it's been going on for medicine for decades, but for surgery it's a relatively new process. And so there's a lot of communication and education that goes on there. That's expectations management. It's an interesting process. So we have like 15 minutes. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't say this at the beginning, and I meant to. And Brooke reminded me. What we do is cut the class, if you will, off at 7:30. If they're willing to stay and talk later, and if you are, fine. But there are people who have other commitments later and stuff like that. So at 7:30, I'll give Deb or we'll give you both a little warning. And then we play it for you by you for 45 minutes already.
Next one? Yeah, we're trying to see any next one. Yeah, because you're going to
so I mean, I would be kind of curious what people are interested in hearing about. I feel like we longer meandering through our lives. But basically, my short story till now is that I got married in my 3rd year of practice. I also had infertility, which is true for about 30% of female physicians, and only true for about 10% of the national community. And there's a group of 50,000 physician moms on Facebook called Physician Moms Group. And when I first got on that page, I inquired, has anybody thought about studying this group? Because almost everybody on there has lost a child, has a child with serious medical problems, has infertility. And basically they said, we're doctors, we start late, we have more stress, you expect to have children late or not at all, we don't want to talk about it, which I thought, in terms of women in medicine, there's a lot of immediate preconceived notions that come that it's somebody doing it to us. And I think that we sort of feel that being tough and strong and, waiting to have a family until it's way too late biologically somehow makes you better and stronger. And it's a really hard count that not most, but 30%, I mean, pretty much all of my friends have IVF babies. So, which, just to be fair, was a $100,000 process out of pocket for us as well, on top of my medical school education, because it's not covered by insurance.
So which state you live in, state by state?
Well, it's a state mandate, I should say, it's a state mandate in Maryland. It's legally required, but because it's a private institution and not a public institution, they got out of paying for it. So, but anyway, just, long process.
You might share why you changed from being a doctor in Easton to why. I think with all the women that are here, that you, if you're able to, that you might share why you're a hospitalist now and not, and you might also share, talking about the immigrants and stuff like that, about the 3 white male physicians that were just let go at your hospital. Madison.
About physicians have babies, 33.
But
Mantis with 30%. Average in the country is
those are 2 things I think are relevant.
Is what? 23. So I used to, when I was interviewing for residency positions at UH, I'd always tell people, I said, don't wait, I don't know what your plans are, but I'm just telling you as a woman, don't wait. And I was thinking, my program director's just like saying that. Like, get that out there, and Brooke said she does the same thing.
Yeah,
So
no, I
funny.
very definitely am on a big mission to tell anybody in any field that life happens, people forgive you, and that trying to be the good, high-powered career whoever and wait until the right time. That one of my friends was telling me that there's a Yiddish saying that says the man plans and God laughs, and I think that's probably, I don't know the Yiddish translation, but I mean it's true that you know, there's a real huge tendency to try to do everything the right time, plan it out, make it work, and that is not how it works. For biology anyway. Biology and pathology don't care.
So you mentioned if you have a 12-hour day with surgeons rotating in and out, you've got a set of
An 80-hour
twins that are
week.
2. And how do you have twins that are 2
I
years
do.
old?
Yes, almost two.
So do you have a nanny or a
Yes, so
spouse?
these are my people. It's twice out of 4. So and it is important to say just in terms of why we're here and what we're talking about. So I also did 6 rounds of IVF, and I did get pregnant and carried triplet girls to 20 weeks. And after an overnight shift, I delivered them at 20 weeks, and they lived for an hour and they didn't survive. So
And you almost died.
right, and I almost couldn't leave the hospital because of blood loss and other complications. So fortunately, my mom asked me, "Is this how your story ends?" And she was brave enough to ask, and I was brave enough to get it together and move on, even though it didn't seem reasonable. And so that's why I changed careers. So I was working as a full-time general surgeon, never home. Our 4-man group taking all the call, and they were till 10 or 11 o'clock.
Can I add one part to that? That you were also working 80 hours a week, and they wouldn't let you not work 80 hours a week. And one of the men who was paid 3 times more than you was leaving at noon, and Brooke was out billing him by like 3 times because it's all published statistics. So she's out billing him. The guy's leaving at noon, and she's working like crazy, getting sicker and sicker. And one day she drove herself to the hospital and got in her car and drove to the hospital where she was being treated and almost died. I mean, each baby lived an hour and a half. We watched them die in our hands. But it was a matter that people love women doctors. And so if you're really good at what you do, they keep asking for you. And you have people saying, if you don't take care of these people, people will die, especially as a surgeon. And there's such a shortage. And I think women tend to, it's the fallen man syndrome in the military that you just keep, if there aren't enough guys there to take care of it, that you just pick up more. You just carry the weight. And I think women tend to do that. I know that's what happened with Brooke. And she left this situation, as did a lot of other surgeons, and went to work as a hospitalist so that she has more control over her schedule. And I think that's an important part of your story, especially with all the women that are here.
Yeah, so one of the major career shifts is that I now work shifts. So I do 12-hour, 15-hour shifts, and so I do have a nanny. I work a lot of nights, and so my husband takes care of the kids at night. They have dinner. Sometimes they come to the hospital, so I nursed. He brings them to the hospital, so we could do dinner together, and then take him home, and he watches them overnight. And then I come home after a 15-hour shift, and I'm on all day, drive to school, pick them up from school, and trying to catch up. And I'm doing that for 2 years. It's getting a little old, but they're sleeping better. So, and that's how I get my administrative and other work done. Is I stay up 4 o'clock in the morning if there's a slow time, and get stuff done when everybody's asleep. So everybody manages their careers, but it's tricky when you're trying to be a mom and caretaker and stuff.
So I was always sure. I was pretty sure I wanted to be a doctor. I was always sure I wanted to be a mom. I was always sure I wanted to be a mom. So when we had the infertility issues, it was pretty hard. But when we had our baby, I wanted to go part-time. My philosophy is, not tend your own yard and then go take care of somebody else's yard. You make sure your yard is in shape first before you go outside. So I always wanted to really be present with my kids. So when I had my baby, when we finally were lucky enough to have my child, I wanted to go part-time. It took me a year to get there. And we went through so many different nannies, and so many different daycare situations. You're younger, and I can just kind of think my husband's back there. But I went part-time because we had, you know, 2 careers. He works harder than I do, definitely. But I wanted to be the main mom. I wanted to be the one who was called. I wanted that role. Yeah, there's.
Can you just tell us a little more about the process of going from full-time to part-time? Like, what was the process?
Well, my daughter's 24, so I did it 23 years ago. I was at Temple, I was faculty at the time. I was the first person on the faculty at Temple to go part-time. And 3 women and I did it together. We decided if we created the job together, we would have that so nobody could kind of question what we were doing. So the 3 of us took 2 jobs together, and we divided it up amongst ourselves. But we had to give up all of our benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't happen anymore, but we give up all of our benefits. And like I said, I couldn't have done it. My husband would definitely tell you, I work part-time in salary only. You know, I'm paid a part-time salary, but I easily work 40 hours a week. Now, Brooke works probably 60 or 80 hours a week, but I get paid less. And so I feel okay that I get paid less. But when I had kids, it was really important when my kids were little. I didn't work Tuesday and I didn't work Friday. I found out working a half day was really bad for me. It's really hard when you're leaving the hospital and somebody's sick to have to choose. So it's better if I didn't go right away. Because otherwise, like what I would do when my kids got older and they were playing sports in the afternoon, I worked 5 half days and 1 full day. And I would end up leaving my kids, you guys don't remember this, but my kids were always the last one picked up in the pickup line. It was so nice to know those teachers, they were always the last ones. I would go racing up Mayfield. I had tickets to up Mayfield all the time. Because we were driving up Mayfield frantically to get them out of the pickup line. And because you stay, even though I was supposed to be done at 12, I would get there at 3, you know, because you just keep on working. And there's one more person, and how do you say no to adding on one more person? So when my kids were little, it was pretty important for me to have specific days where I worked and specific days where I didn't work. I was really proud when my kids were really little that some of the mothers thought I was a stay-at-home mom. I was like, yes. Really, that's great. Sophie, my youngest daughter, when she had to say in kindergarten, what's unique about you? You know, some kids would say what's unique about them. She wrote, I was mortified. What's unique about me is that when I don't feel well, my mom still makes me come to school. You know, I know. You're not sick. Just take Tylenol. You'll be fine. So working part-time is but what it gave me was, and what I'm trying to mentor with you guys is that what I thought is that I wanted to have the freedom, and maybe it's my heritage that I have a lot of guilt. I wanted to have the freedom to walk out when I needed to walk out for my kids and never feel guilty. I will tell you, when I would walk out and work part-time, I honestly used to feel like I wish I could put a sign on my back that said, I only work part-time. I'm only paid to be here till 12. I'm not leaving early, you know, because people would think, well, she's leaving early, like, you know, that guy who left early. I wasn't doing that. I was leaving at 3 and I was only there, you know, and I wasn't doing that.
She'd like to be able to leave when her kids are sick and everything, but depending on the profession, if you're going into medicine, depending on the profession that you choose, you can either have that kind of flexibility. She has the same emotions that you do, but she's locked into a job where she can't walk away. She works holidays and it's being a woman surgeon is a very difficult job. And
you know, life is kind of adjust. The things that I kind of had to say, I couldn't take for granted.
it is. But they're also the men in your group. I asked you why they let go of those 3 men. Do you want to?
So I mean, I only have a couple more minutes officially, and so my sort of closing statement that I'd like to make is that my journey through being really young as the state president, and was asked not to run because I had children, that it wasn't appropriate for a mom to be the president. And they didn't know I was pregnant with twins when I ran. So, what I've realized through this journey, being able to go to other hospitals, other communities, and listen to people's stories that aren't as personal as the stories of my friends and the people that I worked with, was that we all are feeling the exact same issues. And while the younger people are getting sort of tagged, millennials are sort of tagged with your lifestyle people, and that's not really a gender thing, that's just a people thing. I really have gotten involved in the well-being conversation about specifically physicians, because that's the language that I understand. But it's true everywhere throughout our country. And older working adults are being pushed out of their jobs because they're too expensive. People who aren't able to retire because they, stock market didn't do what it was supposed to do. They weren't able to sell their practices like they were promised by older generations. They're having to work into their 60s and 70s, late into their 70s, even as doctors, which is not what people think. And the hospitals, I was just required to let go one of my partners for no good reason, just because they want a new scene. So at 63, he's not going to have another job. He's just done. And fortunately, he's close enough, and his wife is still working, so they're going to be okay. But it's somebody's dad. His daughter's getting married this year, and my husband just decided that they're done and they want somebody a newer model.
And cheaper. You told me, and cheaper, that they can hire.
And
They can bring in doctors from other places cheaper.
So there's a lot of transition, and one of the statistics, I don't know if you pulled, but 400 physicians a year kill themselves. So it's more than one doctor a day. And so there's a big, huge conversation going on. I think that there's sort of a cone of silence around physicians in terms of that we don't talk about our human side, we don't talk about what we actually go through, and that for better or for worse, when you go to a physician, you want to believe I wanted my OB to be better than any human on this earth, to come up with miracles. And so we sort of try to take on that role. And I think, especially as women in that field, you feel this incredible draw to try to be superhuman, and it's not sustainable. So the well-being conversation has started, and it's been an enormous gift to my path to be able to get other people to start talking about their humanity, and starting to try to move that conversation forward.
Yes, if I were going to end, we had talked about kind of well-being, and I think well-being is really important. That's a good ending. I was just trying to think of how I would kind of go from there. Last year, I was part of a group called Flex. That's that case. Kind of what I'm going to do here, and how I feel like I can make an impact. Flex was convened by the dean of the medical school because she realized that less women were leaders. And so she offered up that she would do this program, and anybody who is kind of a senior person, women, could join to help kind of improve our leadership skills and train us in some of negotiation. I'm great at taking care of patients. I can innovate anybody. But negotiate, I'm terrible at negotiating for my own side. I can negotiate patients. I can negotiate for them to stop smoking, but I can't negotiate my own salary. But she convened this group, and it's case, it's the clinic, it's Metro, it's basic scientists, it's physicians as well. And it was really great just also to get together and find out that all of us as women have been kind of like going through this together. And we have a lot of the same anxieties and a lot of the same challenges. And then as a group, we're much stronger. And actually, it's really been fantastic. It was really very empowering to me to go through this and to kind of participate in this group. That's great. And so when you talk about well-being, one of the strengths, one of the reasons in my application, because you had to apply for this position, was that I wanted to make sure that I mentored young adults, not just young women, but young adults, to not have to give up benefits, to not have to give up, feel like you have to hide when you're walking out of the hospital when you're getting paid less, and to not have to negotiate some of the things that we've had to negotiate to navigate some of those things. And so that's kind of why I'm here tonight and what I feel like I can contribute that.
On time.
Yeah, it's 7:33.
So thank you for coming, but thank you guys. I'm totally going away with this stuff. Well-being. I hope to spend more time with it next time. Thank you. And, they're here and they'll stay as long as they want. But we have to open it up so people can go. There's something to eat. Get a beer. Thanks, ladies.